Greetings. Forgive if my voice sounds a little weird, it's just because I'm sick, and I've been sick all week. So I made a video a couple months back about this sort of bootleg Serbian film copy I bought, and that video has about a little over 1,000 hits now, which I was surprised it was that popular. So now that the official Region 1 release in the US has come out, I thought I'd do a little mini, not really a review, but just sort of a overview of what that's like. Anyway, just to follow up on the old video, it appears that this is indeed a bootleg. It basically took the British cut of the film, which was cut by like 4 minutes, these draconian cuts, and then somebody spliced in the uncut scenes from a Canadian screener, which I believe the filmmakers gave to various film festivals as part of their applications to be part of those festivals. And those were the yellow X scenes that were uncut. When it cuts from the cut version to the uncut scenes, they used a dissolve in there, so there actually were like sort of a few seconds between the cuts that were taken out of the film. So to actually call it uncut's a little odd, but the scenes that are controversial for violence or sex or whatever, those scenes themselves are uncut, but a few seconds here and there were shaved due to the way it was spliced. So that's that. Okay, so cut to now. It's October of 2011, and the Region 1 official release of a Serbian film has come out on DVD and Blu-ray from Invincible Films, who bought the rights to distribute the film in the US. First things first, the film is cut. It is cut by... if I didn't time it exactly, some people have said 30 seconds, some people have said a minute and a half. If I had to guess, I'd say it's closer to about 30 to 45 seconds. All of the cuts take place within 2 different scenes, as far as I can tell. No entire scenes are cut out, it's mostly just a collection of shots. And they're the 2 scenes in the film where minors are victims. The infamous newborn scene. The scene is still in there, you still know what's going on, but there's pretty much 2 shots are taken out. One of the baby actually being delivered, as in coming out of the birth canal, and then the shot of the bald guy pulling down his drawers slightly, and him thrusting in the foreground while the extremely fake-looking baby puppet is in the center of the frame, crying. But you hear the noise, you get some brief shots, you still get the reaction shot of the mother smiling, you still get Milos's face going like white and being messed up, and Vukmir looking at him, smiling like how's he going to react. So you know what's going on. It's not a detrimental cut, it works fine. It still shouldn't be cut anyway, but I'll get to that. And then at the end when... spoiler alert, by the way. At the end, when Milos is at first, where there's 2 hooded figures laying down, and it's revealed that the one is Milos's wife and the other is his son. The shot of the hood coming off of the son's face to reveal that it is the son is completely gone. You get Milos's reaction shot, but you don't know what he's reacting to. It's only through... If you've never seen the film before and you only see this version, you would only know that it was the son from the context of the later scenes, and even then it's not spelled out in this version. So that is actually a pretty detrimental cut, since that really takes away from the power of the film. You also miss the shot of Milos and his brother both next to each other thrusting for some reason. I think they probably could have left that in. And... the shot of Milos struggling to penetrate, I should say, his son, and then the shot of like the blood trickling down the legs, those are both cut. But aside from that, every other scene, regardless of sex or violence, seems to be in here completely uncut. So it's bad that it was cut for censorship, but it could have been worse. It could have been the 4 minutes of England or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's been released uncut on Blu-ray anywhere else except for Sweden, and of course, and as I mentioned in the last video, the Swedish Blu-ray doesn't have English subtitles. I did hear something about a Norwegian Blu-ray that might. I don't know. And also there was a German one from a company called MediaBook that might also be uncut. I know there was a cut version released in Germany on Blu-ray, but I think they may have released like a special edition uncut there anyway. According to Invincible Films' official Facebook page for a Serbian film, they've given two different reasons for why they decided to release it cut. The first was that, quote-unquote, some retailers would not carry the film if it wasn't cut. There might be something to that. I know Netflix removed a Serbian film from their queue, so you can't rent it through them. I think that might have less to do with the content of the film and more to do with the fact that Invincible Films is at least part owner, if not complete owner, of the website FlixFlang or FlixFling, which allows you to rent the film through there. So maybe because there's another website that allows you to streaming rent it, maybe that's the reason Netflix didn't carry it rather than a content issue. But also, I can see how like Walmart or Best Buy or any of these big chains might not want to carry the film, which is sort of odd since, well, I can't speak for Walmart. I haven't stepped foot in a Walmart in years, but I know Best Buy would carry like Salo, they would carry Cannibal Holocaust. They don't usually have a problem carrying pretty extreme films. I think they carry Martyrs too, for that matter. So some retailers sound spurious at best, though, because this isn't exactly a film that's going to fly off the shelves at Walmart. You know, it's something that people, they're not going to buy it on a whim. It's probably not going to be it might be a blind buy, but people are going to hear about the film before they buy it, and they're probably going to buy it more off like an Amazon than anything else. And since I bought the uncut Blu-ray on Amazon, clearly the uncut DVD rather, clearly Amazon doesn't have a problem with selling it uncut. Though this was taken off of Amazon. The listings were taken off of Amazon right around the time that this came up available for pre-order, so I don't think that was a coincidence. The other reason that they gave for cutting it was that there would be legal issues with releasing it uncut. I'm guessing because of what happened in Spain that maybe they're just worried about local, like some bumfuck hick DA in Mississippi, maybe seizing a couple copies for obscenity or whatever. But I don't think this film would actually have a problem legally if it were released uncut, for a couple of reasons. The first is that there's the test for obscenity, that it has to have artistic merit, scientific, artistic, or literary merit. And I'm pretty sure you could find enough film critics to testify on behalf of this having artistic merit. And if you can't, I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in film studies, and I would happily testify as to the artistic merit of this film, for whatever my bachelor's degree is worth. The other is that there was, I believe, a Supreme Court case recently, maybe a couple years back, where simulated sex acts with children, even just simulated, might be illegal. And a couple lawyers who argued against it said, well, by that nature, American Beauty would be obscenity, or Lolita, either the book or Kubrick's film or Adrian Lyne's version, would be considered obscenity. And I think one of the justices shot back, well, no one's trying to ban American Beauty. If so, then it would be an issue. Well, maybe they should finally test that. If somebody is trying to ban a Serbian film, then perhaps it should be a good test case, just like James Joyce's Ulysses was, as far as obscenity goes. But even then, again, no actual children were hurt during this movie. In fact, they weren't even no actual children were on set during the violent or the sex scenes. Again, the baby is just a really fake-looking animatronic puppet thing, and the shot of the hood coming off of the son's face, revealing him sort of laying catatonic with some drool coming out, that was just an insert shot on a completely different set, so that child actor wasn't even privy to what was going on at that point. So, there's that, as opposed to, say, American Beauty, where the actress Thora Birch was 16 at the time that she filmed that, and she was topless in that. Or Mina Suvari was an adult, but she was portraying a 16 or 17-year-old. So American Beauty would actually is closer to, endangering children than this film ever was. Or even you can take a film like like Pretty Baby from the early 80s, the Brooke Shields movie where she's a child prostitute. And she was like 12 or 13 when that movie came out, and she's completely naked in it. I'm not sure how that was allowed. I mean, especially back in the conservative Reagan 80s. But, and there's that, and I think also she was a minor during Blue Lagoon. What the fuck was up with Brooke Shields' parents to let her be naked in all those movies when she was a kid? But, regardless, I digress. So that, I mentioned Salo earlier in the video, that the Italian film based on 120 Days of Sodom, the Marquis de Sade book. I believe that had, I don't know if minors were actors in that, but there were, if not, there were adults that were simulating as minors. It's been a while since I've seen that film. So, I mean, there's certainly precedent as far as films that have gone further than this in the aspect of, minors in sexualized situations for mainstream films, and those films aren't banned. Oh, the Tin Drum, the film, it won Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, or tied it with Apocalypse Now. That film actually was seized a couple years ago by some, like, local DA a few years back. And I think actually it was probably a little while ago, and then there was sort of a big uproar because, like, you're seizing an Academy Award-winning film for, for showing sexualized children, and it won the Palme d'Or, it won the Academy Award for best, for it's not obscene, it's not porn, it's a legitimate film, but I think it was some guy just rented it, and the cops came and seized the rented copy from him. So yeah, the Tin Drum, I forgot that. That was a pretty controversial film too. So the retailers, some retailers' reason, and the thorny legal issue reason, that they don't strike me as legitimate reasons. And even if it did get into a legal issue, and Invincible Films is a pretty small distributor, if this was seized for First Amendment grounds, I'm pretty sure the ACLU would take the case pro bono. They're not going to lose a lot of money trying to defend it. And even if they did lose the case, then at that point they could release the cut version, and all of the press coverage from the trial, and this big First Amendment trial, because there hasn't been an issue of a mainstream film being seized for obscenity in this country in years. Probably not since that Tin Drum issue a couple years back, and even then, that usually doesn't happen in this country because we have a First Amendment. So, yeah. So aside from that, maybe the real reason is just that they are waiting to double dip, and they'll have an uncut version sometime down the road. And that might happen since this has absolutely no extras on it. And if they're going to cut 30, 45 seconds out of the movie, you'd think the least they could do is, like, throw a commentary or a trailer on there, just load it up with special features to make up for the fact that you're not giving us the unedited film. But no, you get chapter stops and the film itself, and that's about it. The audio on it only has a 2-channel audio. even the bootleg had 5.1. This is just, I don't know. Looking at the packaging, I've already shown this for a long time, but this is the slipcover. It sort of looks like a leather-bound, grimy package or whatever. The back has the camera lens logo. And then take off the slipcover, and we have the U.S. poster of it, Milo's screaming face in the lens cover, the font for the title. Then the back has this surprisingly long summary of the film. Unrated does not mean uncut, but they put unrated big there. It says 103 minutes here, and in the uncut version is supposedly 104, so that would lead you to assume maybe they cut in minutes, but you have to remember that they don't include seconds here. They usually round up or round down, so that's probably why, even if it is only 30 seconds. Even though this is a Blu-ray, and Blu-ray regional encoding is in letters instead of numbers, they put Region 1 here in NTSC. So that's that. Looking at the disc itself, it does come with a digital copy, even though I never use those. And that's what the disc looks like. They're also using the, looks like the lens logo there. The video on it is quite good. They shot the film using the Red 1 digital camera, which seems to be the go-to digital camera these days for shooting feature films. I know there's a couple other cameras that were used. Fincher used the Viper for Zodiac, and I think he used a different one for Ben Button. But it seems like a lot of people are using the Red 1. Neville Dean Taylor used it for Gamer. James Gunn used it for Super. Kevin Smith used it for Red State, so the red one seems to be that camera they're going for. And aside from the fact that some of the shots using the red camera have sort of this yellowish tint to it, aside from that, it sort of leans yellow. But I think they can handle that with color correction, but you can kind of tell when you're seeing some film shot on the red that it's a little bit yellow. Otherwise, the high-def picture on this is a big step up from the bootleg. That's pretty much why I bought this. I knew it was going to be cut, but I wanted to see it with really good picture quality instead of this one. Also, even though the audio is only 2-channel, at least there's not any volume spikage as there was in the bootleg, where it gets extremely loud during the cutscenes. The subtitles on this version are a bit more grammatically correct than they are in the bootleg, so that's pretty good. There's still a couple of sort of weird phrasing there, but maybe that's just the translation. I don't speak Serbian, so I don't know. But again, no extras, and it is cut. So that's that. Still, if you can't get your hands on this, and by the way, no, I will not burn a copy of this for you, no, I will not sell it to you, and no, I will not trade it with you. It's called Google, you can find it on your own, it's not that hard to find, even if they took it off of Amazon. But if you can't find the uncut version, and like me, you think there are moral, ethical, and legal reasons to not illegally download stuff, then this isn't a bad buy to get. It's certainly... The British Blu-ray was region free, but it's cut by about 4 minutes. This is 30 seconds, maybe a minute. So, you know, it's not that big a deal. It's bad that it had to be censored. Their reasons are a little crappy, and there's no extras on it, but it could have been worse. They could have cut out a lot more than they did. They did leave in quite a bit more than a lot of other regions were able to. At least it wasn't outright banned like it was in some countries, so that's that.